Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are finally live again, and as you can see I stepped up my game quite a lot. We have an awesome camera. Today we're going to have a look at one of my matches. This means I'm going to sit at the computer and we're going to have a look at the match from the Euro Tour. But as you can see I'm having a pool table behind me, and I really bought a lot of amazing stuff to do a kind of Sharivari live stream show with my cameraman, who's going to be an operator, with multi-camera views where I'm answering your questions from the chat. We're going to break and run, have just a good time having some fun on the pool table. But this is still in the making. For now, we're just going to have a look at one of my matches from the Euro Tour that I was recently playing like 2 months ago. As you can see, there I am. We are just 4 minutes left from the beginning of this match, where we're going to just analyze. I'm going to comment. As I mentioned, I think it's around 2 or 3 months that I was playing this match, so I can't even really remember what really happened here. So we're going to just watch and see how this turns out. By the way, Euro Tour, really amazing tournament. I think my second time that I'm actually played this one, and we will see what's going to happen. But let me just check the chat first. So I hope every one of you can hear me fine, so let me know in the chat. I think I have to pull this one a bit over. This is actually my second live stream I'm doing. We did one where I was playing against Pia Filler, and this really was a lot of fun. To be honest, I was a bit nervous because doing live is such a completely different thing from what we're usually doing on my channel. Perfect sound. That's awesome. That's great to hear. Thanks for the feedback. And live stream is a total different story, but I think we should do a couple of more in the future, as I mentioned, with the Sharivari live stream show, where we're just going to have a bit of fun, and of course we're going to have a lesson. So as you can see, warm up. I didn't really know my opponent, never heard of him, but turned out he is actually a pretty good player. We will see how the whole match turns out. And I think we have 3 more minutes to answer any questions you have. So during the live stream, just let me know if you have any questions, not even related to the match, and I'm trying to answer here and there a couple of questions, but our main focus will be just analyzing and watching the match together. So let me just, this is really difficult to do this all by yourself, but I think this is going to work just fine. Okay, so now it's my time. The usual thing when you're playing such a tournament is you got called, you have to go to the table, and then you just have one rack where you're trying to figure out the table, how the table plays, how the rails are playing, how fast the glove is, and so on. So we're playing a 9-ball here, raise to 9. We have the 9 on the spot. We don't have any break box like they're doing it recently in the matchroom tournaments, but we have here the kitchen rule, and I hope every one of you knows what the kitchen rule is, or the 3-point rule. This means you have to make 3 points on the break. Each ball you're making is equal 1 point, or if a ball goes back to the kitchen above the head string, then you also get 1 point. So you could either make 2 balls, 1 ball goes to the head string. You can see now I have the 3, the 1, the 7, the 2 were in the kitchen, so I would be able to continue. If I don't fulfill the kitchen rule, then my opponent can either take the table or give it back to me, and then I can just play a push shot or whatever, or just play the shot. So this is the kitchen rule. They are playing it that way to prevent the soft breaking. And I mean, to be honest, I don't really like the kitchen rule because you can break hard, you can make 2 balls, and then some balls don't get over the kitchen, and you don't get rewarded for making a ball on the break. So that's why I don't really like the kitchen rule. But yeah, that's just part of the game. Gotta play the rules that the tournament decides. And I was a bit nervous before this match because, as I mentioned, my second Euro Tour ever, had to travel a lot. It was in Austria, this one, and I just want to perform when I'm at a tournament, and I don't want to quit, lose the game and go home. This is double elimination, but I just decided, my mindset before this match was just play the game, enjoy the venue, enjoy being there, and just play the game, have some fun, and do your best. And this is probably always the best thing you can do. Here you can see what I'm trying when I'm warming up, trying to figure out the speed. So this is a shot that I usually wouldn't play, where I'm crossing the line, but the tables were so fast. And these were the first 9 shots that I played. And now the match already starts. So let's see how this turns out. How many viewers have we here at the moment? Wow, almost 160 viewers already. This is amazing. So as I mentioned, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Then I'm going to answer those ones. And I think I'm going to turn my camera now here off, so that we can just focus on the game, and then I can lean a bit back and relax and chill a bit more, because I'm feeling a bit watched, to be honest. So let's turn this off and have a look at the match. I think I've won the leg, and we are playing Reg Your Own. This is very common. We aren't using any magic ball reg here, because the table is tapped. This means that it has tiny dips in the table, so that way you're trying to bring the balls as close as possible to get them. And we are playing, I think, alternate break. I'm not a big fan of alternate break, but yeah, you just gotta prevent, or people are trying to prevent that way, that yeah, players are going to break and run the whole set. So I can understand it, but I'm not a big fan. And every single time I'm gambling, I'm always playing winner break, and I think this is pretty common, to be honest. So let's have a look at the break. Fun fact: I really had problems with my break tip. That's why you probably will see me soft breaking all the time, because I was miscuing the day before when I was practicing at a pool hall. And I tried to get my tip fixed or changed, but they hadn't any break cues with them here on this tournament. So I just had to play with this tip. And every single time when I was breaking, I was afraid to actually miscue. This is why you're seeing me soft breaking all the time. So we made a ball, and I'm trying to play it safe, to put my opponent under the pressure. The thing that I'm doing most of the time when I'm playing matches is, in the beginning, I'm not feeling that in stroke and in flow. So I'm going to take on a whole lot less balls and going to play safety instead, because I don't want to make any silly mistakes and leave my opponent in the game, or let my opponent in the game. This is why I'm probably not going to take on every single shot, and I'm going to play a bit more defense. Just play the right shots where you don't sell out. Okay, let's have a look. He yeah, made a good contact, good speed, but was a bit unlucky to leave the one ball in front of that corner pocket. Here, very important, this is a brand new table with brand new cloth, so I have to play this one with inside spin, with right spin here to hold for the 2-ball, but the right spin won't grab on the rail as well as on an older cloth. This is what you have to consider when you're playing on tournaments like this. The table plays totally different compared to an old pub table or something like that. So the table is fast. The left and right spin isn't that effective, because it just slides along the rail, but I managed to have a nice angle on the 2-ball. Here, usually I would have tried to hold for the 3-ball into the side pocket, but as I mentioned, the table is fast, and I just played around 9 shots on this table, so that's why I decided to let my stroke a bit out, don't risk anything. And this is a nice angle on the 3-ball, just have to cross the line, get a nice angle on the 4-ball. This then turned out perfectly, and this is pretty much a perfect start into the match. I broke, I was able to continue at the table, played a safety. My opponent made a good hit, but yeah, left the 1-ball in front of the corner pocket. And now I can basically run out. I'm still a bit shaky at this moment. I'm trying to not show it too much to my opponent and trying to look as confident as possible. But yeah, I'm not playing that many big tournaments, and the Euro Tour is a really big tournament with, I think there were around 200 players or over 200 players. And yeah, I'm always a bit shaky in the beginning. Here, yeah, you can see the table is fast. The cue ball stopped just in time. Now I have a nice angle. What I could try is go 2 rails and play the 8-ball into the corner pocket where I'm standing. But I'm just playing it a bit harder because I don't want to slow rail it once again in the beginning. I just want to let my stroke a bit more out. But as you can see, it looks as if I have the speed figured out pretty much perfectly at this moment, because yeah, pretty much every single time pinpoint speed. And yeah, I should make this 9-ball, and it's already 1-0. Perfect game so far. So this is a really, really important start into a match. If you're able to complete the first rack without any mistake, then this really boosts your confidence. Your opponent is sitting in a chair, seeing you run the whole table. So yeah, the beginning of the match for me personally can set the tone of the whole match. Of course, a race to 9 is a bit of a longer race, but especially when you're playing small tournaments where it's just playing a race to 4, race to 5, the first game is really the most important. You want, or you have to get the first game. This is just so important because, as I mentioned, it sets the tone a bit for the match, or can set it a bit for the match. So, alternate break. Now my opponent is going to break. Let's see what he has. And very important, as I mentioned, we're playing kitchen rule here. My world ranking, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea what my world ranking is. I think in the top 10,000 of the world. I don't know. As I mentioned, I'm not playing that many tournaments, just the local ones. But I will be at the European Open in Germany by Matchroom in the end of August, and I'm really looking forward to this. And in the meantime, my opponent made a foul on the break because the cue ball flew off the table. This is not what you want to do. Now I have an open table. We have a bit of a problem. As you can see, the 2 to the 3 is a bit tricky. The free ball just passes into the side pocket, into the left side pocket. And the 9-ball is a bit of a blocker here. As you can see, usually I would try to now play the 2-ball into the corner pocket, and the cue ball should travel exactly where the 9-ball is. So I'm trying to use some spin. But first of all, this wasn't enough spin. Second of all, the left spin doesn't grab on the rail. So now ball in hand, and already a really, really bad position. And now you can see I have to work a way out, or find a way to get a nice position on that 4-ball. But I have something in mind, or I remember I had something in mind. I'm just going to let my stroke out, playing low and right. And now just watch, or what do you expect will the cue ball do if I'm playing low and right? Just compare this with the actual outcome. Toby, I am 6.3, which would be 1 meter 92 centimeters. As you can see, low right, great recovery shot. On the second rail, the right spin really brought me into a nice line for the 4-ball, and now I'm in line again. So this was very important to not mess it up from the 2 to the 3-ball to the 4-ball with ball in hand, and just continue putting some pressure onto my opponent. Now you can see just a bit of a stun run through. This means I'm not slow rolling it in. I'm hitting it firm, just a bit above center, so the cue ball follows. This was actually just a fraction too much, but this should still be fine. I'm close to the 5-ball. Maybe I have to use a hair of right spin, and then probably going 2 rails, or just even 1 rail, so I could hold that ball. And now we're perfectly in line again. This is a very natural path. Just going to roll the 6-ball in. The cue ball comes really naturally 1 rail towards the 7-ball. And from here on, I definitely have to clear the table. How many local tournaments have I ever won? I'm not counting the ones that we were playing in my local pool club, but I think around 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10. Nah, 10 is maybe a bit too much. I would say around 8 tournaments or something like that. The thing is, I'm now 33 years old, and I'm competing or playing tournaments or in the league, I would say, for 7 years, maybe 8 years, but more 6, 7 years. So yeah, I started way too late to play pool. I started way too late to compete. So this is the problem. This is why I'm always so nervous and shaky when I'm playing big ones or tournaments in general. So yeah, I'm really lacking experience traveling around the world, gambling with people, playing tournaments. This is one of my weakest points. But the problem now is that I don't have time or the money to travel around the world, because my main job is not being a pool player, but being a pool coach, or wouldn't call myself a coach, but a pool YouTuber, and just a guy who gives advice to people and tries to help people improve their game. This is why I'm just playing local tournaments, and that's basically the reason. But I will be, as I mentioned, at the Matchroom European Open in Fulda, and I'm going to be at the Derby City Classic once again next year in January. I was there last year, met a lot of you guys. Was really an awesome experience there, talking to all of you, because my main viewership comes from the USA. So I really met a lot of people there, and it was really a great venue, a lot of fun, and I'm going to definitely be there in January. Okay, so far you can see I'm playing a TPA of 1000, but this is nothing special, because we just played 2 racks so far. So we will see how this score will change in the end. Let's have a look at the break. We made the 1 ball into the side, the 7 ball went into the kitchen, and we made 2 balls. The 6 ball is also gone. So I fulfilled the kitchen rule, and I have a really nice opening shot on that 2 ball, and I can continue to put some pressure onto my opponent. Thanks for all your kind comments. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy to read from people, and to hear that I've helped them improve their game or find joy for the game again. There were a couple of people who told me they didn't play for years, then they watched one of my videos or 2, and they continued playing pool, and they finally won against their friends. So this is really awesome, and this is really the thing that keeps me grinding and keeps me making this stuff, especially when I meet people in real life, like at the Mosconi Cup, or as I mentioned, at the Derby City Classic. So this is really awesome. Yes, René, ich bin Deutscher. I'm German. To be more concise, I'm from Bavaria. Okay, I took some time from the 2 to the 3 ball. It was a delicate shot. Now I have a shot into the side pocket. I could also play it into the upper right corner pocket, but making that shot into that pocket is a bit more difficult. The problem is, I think I'm perfectly straight into the side pocket, so all I can do is just follow the ball, and I can't follow that much. As you can see, I'm putting my finger onto the table, just visualizing or picking a point where I want to be. I can't go any further because the 9 ball is there. Then I have a bit more difficult shot on the 4 ball, but I think this was the only thing I could do. And now all I have to do is just roll that ball in, roll the 4 ball in, bring the cue ball to the center of the table, and then I should have a nice shot onto the 5 ball. And so far, we're still on a perfect run. I can make it 3-0, which would be awesome, which would be really one of my best starts into a match or into a whole tournament. Yeah, this looks fine. 4 ball into the heart of the pocket. This always gives me a bit of confidence if I'm making the balls into the heart of the pocket. Now it's just a tiny bit too straight, but this is fine. I think what I'm going to do here is playing high and a touch of right spin to pass the 7 ball on the left side from our perspective. You can see I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing, trying to focus a bit on my fundamentals. You can see the right spin was really important. Otherwise, I would have bumped into the 7 ball because it was a bit too straight on the 5 ball. With a bit more angle, I could have just played a high ball. And now just drawing back because, again, I'm perfectly straight. And this was a bit of a mistake. I actually tried to draw a bit closer to the 8 ball because, first of all, if I'm closer to the 8 ball, making the shot is easier and manipulating the cue ball is easier, and even aiming with side spin is easier. So you always want to get a bit closer to the ball. And now I have that angle, I think, where I'm going towards the side pocket, so away from the 9 ball. What I'm trying to do is play a perfectly timed draw shot where I'm not hitting that hard so that the cue ball doesn't leave the tangent line that much to the left, but instead a very soft draw shot and trying to not end frozen to the rail, frozen to the long rail so that I can cue nicely. This is why I'm really taking my time. And this, yeah, it looks like an easy shot, just draw it a bit back. But this is already such an important shot in the match, because so far I'm playing perfect. I can make it 3-0, and I don't want to mess this one up, because this was, yeah, a really important key shot. So this is why I'm taking my time. And I remember when I started competing, and when I was playing up against the opponent, I always had in mind, oh, don't take that much time. The guy in the chair is waiting. He's probably annoyed if you're taking your time on easy shots. And this is something you have to learn, especially if you're a beginner, that it doesn't matter what your opponent is thinking or what the viewers are thinking. You are playing your game, you are playing your rhythm, you are playing the shots that you want to play. There is no right or wrong shot. Of course, if you're looking at it from a textbook perspective, there is always a shot that is maybe a bit more right than the other one. But if you're playing a match, your shot, the one you pick, is the right shot, is your right shot. And don't second guess yourself. Be convinced of what you're doing. And just play for yourself. Play the game the way that you want the game to be played, or the way you enjoy playing the game. And then everything comes from itself. And this is really an awesome experience if you actually can pull that one off in a match where you just can play freely, without any pressure, without any expectations. This is when you're playing your best game, actually. So, a nice break from my opponent. He definitely has to answer now, because it's already 3-0, and I think the only mistake he made was that he made a foul of the break. Is that right? Yeah, I'm talking way too much. But I think this was the only mistake. So he definitely has to break and run now to I wouldn't say stay in the match, but get finally into the match, get that first point onto the board. Holly Johnson, yes, I'm shooting with my left hand. I'm a southpaw. I'm playing soccer with my left foot. I'm playing tennis with my left hand. I'm riding with my left hand. So I'm basically doing everything with my left hand or with my left foot. Okay, let's see what he's doing here. It's a bit tricky from the 1 to the 2 ball, because the 9 ball is a bit of a blocker. That's why he chose to not go for that narrow gap between the 9 and the 8 ball, but actually go to the short side. This was a clever shot, because otherwise he could have snookered himself. So that way he definitely has a shot on the 2 ball, even if it's not the easiest in the world. But if it's too difficult, he can also play safe. Really nice shot, and yeah, he ended pretty much on the 50-yard line. I think he was trying to go for the 4 ball into the side pocket, but the cue ball traveled too much because the table is pretty fast. So let's see what he's doing here. Fin cut into the side, awesome shot. Bringing the cue ball 3 rails around, and the perfect speed this time. He just has to make the 5 ball draw back, and this should be a roadmap from here. But I don't know what's going on, if he's nervous, if he's feeling it. At least he looks pretty confident, to be honest. The weight of my cue, I think it's 19 ounces, but I have a 4-inch extender at the back, which makes the whole thing a bit more heavy. I think it's around total 20 ounces, 21 ounces. I don't know, to be honest. The thing with me and cues is I use cues, of course, obviously. I use one cue and I stick to that cue for a really long time. I'm not changing tips, I'm not changing cues. I'm not changing weight balls. I'm just playing with the gear I have, and I'm not that interested in cues. I have, for example, teammates in my league that I'm playing, and I have absolutely no clue what cue they are playing if I'm thinking about it. I don't even know if they're playing carbon or wood if I'm trying to remember it. So cues and me, I'm not just not interested that much in material. Just interested in the game and playing the game. But I think I've talked about that in the last live stream. Last live stream. This is so difficult. What's Sharivari Fargo rate? I think I have a Fargo rating because I played a couple of matches in the Derby City Classic. You can just go to the Fargo website and put my name into there. It's Schickling Andre. You can see it at the top lower left. And yeah, so in the meantime, my opponent managed to break and run for the very first time. So it's 3-1. Now a very important rec. Once again, I can either make it 4-1, which would be awesome, or it could be just 3-2, which is still okay. But as you can see, that's a huge difference. Every single rec basically makes a difference of 2 games. And especially at this stage, 4-1 or 3-2 is a really really big difference here. It doesn't. Maybe if you don't write it with this thing over the E, because I know I should have a Fargo rating. I was checking it a while ago, so I definitely have a Fargo rating, but I can't Google now because I have to watch the match and comment. But yeah, it should be there. Maybe try it, as I mentioned, without the thing over the E. So this was really a horrible break. I don't have a nice spread, and I didn't make a ball. So now it's my opponent's turn, and now he has the control. He's probably going to play a safety because I don't think the 1 ball passes the 2 ball. And from what I'm seeing here, he definitely is going to play a safety. Was going for the 2-way shot, maybe play the bank, maybe leave a safe, and I think he was successful because I can't see that 1 ball. So I have to 1-rail kick this and try to make it, and if I don't make it, very important, I wanna hit it too thick because then it goes into the short rail, and from the short rail to the long rail. And as you can see from where the cue ball is, there he wouldn't had any shot. So this is very important. Even on kick shots, you can miss on the pro side, so that you don't leave your opponent another shot. So yeah, I made the 1 ball. I have a position onto the 2 ball into the side pocket, but it's not easy because you can see that green 6 ball is a huge blocking ball. I have to cue off the rail side pockets. I don't really remember how difficult they were, but I played a really nice shot with some inside spin, got closer to the 3 ball, and now I am in game again. I think from the 4 to the 5 ball could be a bit tricky depending on the angle. From the 5 to the 6 to the 7 is a bit tricky. So I'm not out of the woods yet, but I have really a great chance to extend my lead. I have to stretch, but as you can see, as I mentioned, I'm 6.3 and I have a 5-inch longer cue than usual because I have the 4-inch extender and an oversized shaft. So this isn't the perfect angle. I would have loved to get a bit shorter on that 4 ball so that I can bring the cue ball a couple of rails around. So now I have to play high, add some right spin, probably trying to bring the cue ball towards the area where I'm standing. So this is tricky. This is easily mishit if you add a bit too much, a bit too little side spin. So you can see I have to hit hard. But this is actually pretty much perfect. Yeah, it just stopped in time, and now I have a nice angle to just go 1 rail towards the 6 ball. And the good news is the 7 ball should pass, so I should be able to make the 7 ball into the lower left corner pocket. So this is now all about speed control. I'm crossing the line, but now we're already in game number 5. So I should have figured it out at this time. This is nice. 6-7-1. Yeah, it could be a bit better, but yeah, I don't know how many matches are in there, but yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, to be honest. Why did you start playing 8 ball and 9 ball? I'm going to talk about that in a second. Here I have a bit of a problem because now the cue ball is running into the 9 ball. I'm trying to play a high ball here. This turned out pretty nice, but just I overhit it by just a tiny bit. And now I don't have a real shot on that 8 ball. I don't think it's cuttable. You can see my body language. I'm a bit disgusted here because this was so far a perfect match. But I mean, hey, I'm playing good. I'm still in control. I can now play a nice safety or maybe a two-way shot, so everything should be fine. What I'm trying to do here is very important. I'm concentrating 100% on that object ball. This means I will try to put that 8 ball onto the short rail. You can see I'm trying to find the right aiming point. And then on top, I can actually also try to bring the cue ball behind that 9 ball. But my main focus is the 8 ball onto the short rail, because then all I'm leaving my opponent is a bank shot. But as you can see, the 9 ball is a nice ball to also get that bonus point for just snookering my opponent completely. And on a pro level, this is very, very important to also hide that cue ball and not leave, for example, a bank shot. So let's see. 8 ball travels far enough, could have traveled a bit further, and the cue ball also could have traveled a bit further, so just a fraction harder and everything would be fine. But still, I'm putting my opponent under pressure, and it's very difficult to play a resave from here. So what you could do is play a split shot. This means bringing the 8 ball and the cue ball onto the long rails so that I don't have a shot and just a bank shot. So what is he doing here? The split shot is a bit difficult, so what you could do is actually go for the bank shot. What is he doing? Very, very important shot. If he makes a mistake, I'm very likely going to make it 4-1. If he pulls the bank shot off or plays a great safety, he can make it 2-3. So very, very important shot, and he's taking his time. Let's have a look what he's doing. And believe it or not, he pulled off that bank shot. So you can see that's really insane. Perfect position on a 9 ball, just because I hit a bit too soft on the safety on the 8 ball, or maybe I hit a bit too hard. So now suddenly it's 3-2. I didn't really make any mistake. And he played a really, really nice shot to bring himself back into the match. And now it's 3-2. Let's have a look at the stats for the very first time. So both of us did a break and run already. I made a couple of more balls on the break. My putting success and his is at 100%, which is pretty good. And each of us made 1 error. So far, this is a really high level match. You can see that with our rating. By the way, someone asked what the 0.1000 means. This is just your total performance average. I think it was invented or introduced by ICATS. This just means how well are you playing the game. So you're taking every single shot you're playing, you're comparing it with the errors you made, and then you're getting a perfect score, which is a 1000. And if you make a mistake, then your score goes down. As you can see, I'm playing a 971 and he's playing a 917, and this is actually pretty good. So why did you start playing 8 ball and 9 ball? Well, in the beginning when I started playing pool, I just played 8 ball. I didn't even know, to be honest, that there are other games than 8 ball. So I played, I think for 2 or 3 years, I just played 8 ball. Even with the rules where you have to make the 8 ball into the opposite pocket that you made your last ball. Then I joined a club. Then I discovered that there is actually 9 ball and 10 ball and straight pool. And a couple of years later, when I was at the Derby City Classic and watching some online pool, I actually discovered that there is also 1 pocket and a bank pool. So 1 pocket and bank pool is not very popular here in Germany. You won't find a tournament for that, and you won't really find people playing the game. Most of the time we're actually playing 9 ball here, and in the league we're playing 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball and straight pool. My favorite game, to be honest, is 9 ball and 10 ball. I just like rotation games. It's a fast-paced game. It's not that difficult from a tactical perspective, and yeah, that's why I like those 2 games. Okay, my opponent had a great chance here, but what he did is actually snooker himself behind that 8 and the 9 ball. So I think he's probably going for the jump shot here. Let's see if he pulls it off. Yeah, at least he made a contact. And yeah, again, I'm left a bit on the 50-yard line. I could try to make it into the side pocket, but then I have a bit of a problem with the 6 ball. because it's probably in the way, and making it into the corner pocket is also difficult. Of course, you could try to play some kind of safety, maybe bringing the cue ball behind that 6 ball, but I don't really remember what I was doing here, so let's see. Oh, I played the cut shot. Yeah, this was a difficult shot, but obviously I was feeling pretty good at this moment, and I am back in the game. So, what is... Yeah, maybe from the 5 to the 6 could be a bit of a problem, but with the right angle, which I don't really have here because I have a bit too little angle, it's a bit more difficult. I have to manipulate the cue ball a bit more. With more angle, I can just use the natural roll, add some spin to the cue ball, and go from the long rail into the other long rail. But now I have to force the cue ball. I have to hit harder, as you can see. But this pretty much was perfect if the cue ball travels. Oh, luckily we are playing on fast cloth, so I think this should be enough. Maybe I have to use some inside spin, some left spin here. Ooh, that was close, but I made it. So, now a pretty good chance. Just going one rail, trying to get a nice shot onto the 8 ball. And the cue ball, a bit too short. You can see a bit faster, and I didn't really need that right spin that I was using here. So now I have a bit of a more difficult shot than it should have been, but this should be still very makeable. But somehow I'm not feeling it, but I'm taking my time, which is good. Very important shot once again. It's either 4-2 or 3-3 if I make a mistake. And I missed my very first shot of the game, and such an important one. I can't believe that I missed that. Watching this now really hurts. But that's the game, yeah. Sometimes you just miss shots. And now I made pretty much one crucial mistake, I guess, and this was this one. Apart from the safety where I got a bit too short or where I got a bit out of position. And now it's 3-3. And yeah, the momentum shifted a bit. Really a huge rank. Yeah, it hurts watching this. It really hurts. But I mean, that's the game. So, it's 3-3. I'm currently shooting with a mass cue, the Mass Avant DLS, I think it is, yeah. Pretty happy with that. I don't have a sponsor at the moment. So I can try different cues, experiment a bit, or maybe looking for a new cue sponsor, we will see. I haven't tried the Air Rush and Q-Tech jump cues. As I mentioned, I have my jump cue, I have my break cue, I have my playing cue, so for me there's no need. Because I'm happy with my gear, there is no need to try something new. I think actually I tried the Air Rush. Yeah, I tried it because one of my teammates from my local club has one, and I was trying it. Pretty happy with that. Really jumps really well. So maybe going to buy one of those, maybe not. But as I mentioned, I don't like to change my gear all the time. I'm already sponsored by Kamui, and I'm using the Kamui Roku chalk, which is by far the best one I ever used, and I don't want to change that. So I'm really happy with my Kamui stuff. So interesting situation. It's really difficult to push out from here. You can see I could maybe push into a jump shot, because getting then from the 1 to the 2 ball is not that easy, and it's not a gimme. But I'm looking for other options. But I think all I can do here is just push into a jump shot and hope for the best. So either that I get to the table, make the 1 ball and see the 2 ball, or that he messes up. But I think I'm making a terrible decision here. I'm actually trying to make that 1 ball rail first, if I remember it correctly, and then go a couple of rails and get a position on the 2 ball. This, yeah, it's not a good decision. I mean, if I could reach the ball, maybe you could do that, but I even have to stretch that much, so I'm definitely going to put unintentional side spin onto the ball and give him ball in hand, and this is not what you want to do, especially when it's 3-3 now, where I was leading already 3-0 and he got back all the way to 3-3. You don't want to make difficult or risky shots, and as you can see, this is just horrible. I have to cue over the free ball. I have to stretch a lot. Yeah, this again really hurts. The right decision would be just either tie something up and leave him a jump shot, or just push out into a jump shot right away. And you can see I mishit this completely because I added an unintentional side spin. So this was really horrible decision. Cut induced throw. Okay. For the people who are, by the way, watching this after the live stream, I'm just reading a bit through the comments of the live stream. You can activate that, by the way, and see what the people were commenting. So yeah. Now, is there anything that can go wrong? From the 2 to the 3 ball, maybe from the 3 to the 4 is a bit tricky if you have the wrong angle. That's why he tried to stay there, because if you have the other angle, you're going to travel into the 7 ball, and this is difficult. But now he has to cue a bit, elevate a bit. Very, very well played. Nice shot on the 4 ball. Again, a bit tricky. I don't know if the 6 ball passes. Probably not. So if he's playing it into the corner pocket, the cue ball goes towards the 6 ball. Let's see what he's doing here. Maybe bump into the balls. Oh, he did. And he missed that 4 ball. That was a huge ball, you can see. Now he would have had an open table. So this was a huge miss. Let's see what I can do. Again, the 6 ball doesn't pass that 7 ball. And I have to bring the cue ball all the way back. I don't think I have that much of an angle. So very, very important shot. Very important rack. I think I have to draw the cue ball back with low left probably, because if I'm going high and right, I'm going to the wrong side of the 6 ball. So this is going to be... Oh, I'm going to play it just high because the table is slippery. Yeah, this is really, really... Phew, that was dangerous. Because of that side pocket, it can easily scratch that ball. But it was a good shot, but it was very, very risky. A bit more right spin and the cue ball would have scratched. Now I think I'm a bit in between, because it doesn't look from the camera perspective like that. But I remember this shot. I was thinking with a stop shot, I'm probably going towards the 7 ball or too far down. That's why I tried to pound it in, go into the short rail and out. But now a bit too much angle. The cue ball is probably going to travel into the 9 ball. You can see me looking at the angle. So now speed is really important. I have a clear expectation of how I'm going to hit that 9 ball, and this turned out pretty okay. A long shot with a bit of a pressure, but as long on those shots I like to just stay down, try to cue as straight as possible and just trust in my stroke and don't try to second guess myself. And this was a really, really important rec. Finally, after I made 3 perfect games at the beginning, I get 1 more on the board, and now it's 4-3, and I think my opponent is breaking here. Over 300 people in the live stream. That's awesome. That's really cool. Thanks for watching, by the way. So let's have a look at the break of my opponent, what he's doing. Yeah, he caught that one ball a bit too thin. As you can see, this is why the cue ball went down. But he has a clear view on the two ball. The problem is, I don't think he can actually cut that one in. The cue ball and the two ball are just a bit too close together. So I would now try to probably bring the two ball towards the short rail, just where his bridge hand is, and bring the cue ball up table probably. Yeah, that's what he tried. But he left me a shot, a long one, a thin cut. But I think I definitely have to take this on if the 9 ball isn't in the way. And then I think position for the free ball is pretty much guaranteed. Just on those long thin shots, what I'm trying to do is just follow through the cue nicely, as you can see. And this is perfect. So you can see his first safety mistake, I think. And I have a really, really nice shot on the free ball. The only problem is the 4 ball doesn't pass the 7 ball. I'm a bit too straight. So what I was looking at here is, as you can see, the 4-9 combo. And this could be a really, really quick wreck and a really important one. So as you can see, safety game is really, really huge. Yes, the stream is not live, yeah. So the match is not live, but this was like 2 or 3 months ago. But what I like to do is just take those matches and comment over it. I mean, we could perhaps sometimes also invite a co-commentator. Could think of Christina Kiki Grimm, who you probably know if you're following me, or maybe some more famous commentators, maybe Callboys or maybe Niels Fain. This would be awesome. Actually, I talked to Niels quite a while ago. I actually wanted him to commentate one of my matches, and then we would have put this on my YouTube channel. So this is still open. Maybe I'm going to ask him. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could do together with the live stream. I'm really enjoying this live stream stuff. So for the people who weren't there at the beginning, I bought a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to set up a multi-camera live stream view where I'm actually not sitting here just in front of the computer and commenting on one of my matches, but instead where you will see me at the table, where I'm answering questions from the chat, where I'm showing things, just giving you live lessons where we can interact a bit together, have a chat together, where you can even, the cool thing is we can even put people live into the studio with voice messages, or even call into the studio. So this is really a lot of awesome stuff we will do together. We are still trying to figure the technical part out, so the hardware part, but this is going to come really soon, or as soon as possible, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm playing a 9-22, which is awesome. My opponent is also playing pretty strong. So yeah, we made a couple of mistakes, but still this is a pretty high level of play, I think. And what happened here? Did I make a ball on the break? No, I think I didn't, once again. The good news is I didn't leave a clear shot. The only thing I left was a combination. Yeah, and of course he fires that one in. Really difficult shot, difficult to make, difficult to maintain position on that 1 ball. But again, it's a bit tricky. He has a bit too much angle. So I don't really know what he's doing to get from the 1 to the 2 here. Yeah, I didn't like the stroke here. It was a bit quick, not really smooth. This happens very often when you're not sure of what the cue ball is doing, or if you actually can bring the cue ball a certain path. This is when you have this quick stroke and not the smooth one, when you're just not 100% sure if you can do it or how you can do it. Okay, difficult shot on the 1 ball, and even to get a position on the 2 ball. So I think if I'm going for the offensive way, all I can do is just roll it in and try to leave the cue ball pretty much close to the spot where the 1 ball is right now. And then I have a thin cut on the 2 ball. And did I travel too far? Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, from this perspective, it looks like the free ball is not in the way. but maybe I just have to play a tiny bit of right spin. And the other thing that you have to think about is the free ball doesn't pass into the corner pocket where the 4 is and where the 5 is, so getting position is also tricky. I think I have to curve a bit here with some inside spin. If I hit it right, I might bump into the 5 ball, the cue ball stays there, and I might have the free ball into the side pocket or into the corner pocket where I'm just standing. But as you can see, I'm not 100% convinced. It's a bit tricky. So let's see how this turns out. Yeah, just a bit too thin even, I guess, or too thick. Probably too thick, yeah. And I left himself. Is this really a shot on a 2-ball? Can he make it? Maybe, just maybe with the double kiss, but I'm not sure if he can cut it in. Maybe the 5 is in the way. Oh no, it went in. Didn't go in clean, but still enough room to make it. But he got a bit unlucky, to be honest. I think he was trying to hold for the free ball. So he has to cue over the 4 ball to make the free ball into the side pocket, which is awfully difficult. Yeah, but he played a good shot. He played it in a way where if he missed it into the side pocket, if he was going for that, where the free ball ends on the short rail. But I think I have kind of a shot on the free ball. Really a thin one, a long one. So I could either try to play a safety where I'm bringing the free ball down to the short rail, maybe even kicking from behind. But I think I'm going for the offensive option here, which is a bit tricky. A long shot, but I think if I'm going for that for the cut and I'm missing the shot, I might have the 6, the 9, or the 4 as a blocker. That's why I'm going for that cut shot. Sometimes you can just miss a shot and know that you have a good chance of actually having a safety. So you basically can play a free shot. It doesn't work out all the time. But here, yeah, nice shot on the free ball. Just a little bump, a little flick by the 6 ball, and I scratched. So, yeah, was it unlucky? You could call it unlucky, but if I wouldn't have flicked that 6 ball, the cue ball would not have scratched. So I don't like to say I got lucky or unlucky. Especially, I don't want to say I get unlucky because everything that happens on the table is pretty much your own fault, to be honest. So he has a good chance to make it 5-4 or 4-5 from his view. Here, a bit of a wrong speed. So now again, he's a bit in between. Can now play it in both corner pockets. He has to scratch. So this was, yeah, a bit of a careless shot, to be honest. Now he has a bit more of a tricky shot than it should have been. And again, a big, really big rack once again. It could either be 6-3 in favor of me or just 4-5. So you will see what he's doing. And he missed it. So as you can see, was a difficult part, but the mistake happened before he made that 6 ball because of a bit of a poor position. Tricky shot because the 6 ball was so deep in the pocket. It's always difficult to control the cue ball with a ball hanging that deep in the pocket. I could have maybe played it rail first, but I think this is fine. Probably just 2 rails. Yeah, nice position. And here, very important on those kind of shots, I always like to underhit the shot where I'm staying around the center of the table, because if I'm overhitting the shot, I'm ending up close to the rail, frozen to the rail, the cue ball travels even too much and I have no shot. As long as you're somewhere around the center of the table, you will always have a shot on a 9 ball. So a really, really huge game, a really huge miss. Yeah. Really lucky for me that he made that mistake, and now it's 6-3, and I'm feeling a bit better because, yeah, as I mentioned, this was just such a huge wreck. What is the trick to always making the ball in? Well, if there would be a simple trick or a simple solution, then everyone would constantly make every single shot. For me, the most important thing to be a consistent shot maker is having a good technique, a reliable and a consistent pre-shot routine, so that you're doing everything the same before you're playing a shot, that you have your rituals where you're starting to activate your muscle memory, and then just concentrating on cueing straight, staying down, having the arm in the proper position, just visualizing everything, and then just trying to push the cue forward in a straight line. And since I started working on my stroke, because I think for the first 3 or 4 years when I started playing pool, I didn't even work on my stroke, which should be the most important thing if you're playing pool, and everyone is constantly working on his stroke. So I'm now working for, I think, 8-9 years on my stroke, trying to improve my technique, my arm position, my backswing, just my whole mental approach to making shots. This means not trying to make the ball actively, to just throw it in somehow, but just trying to do everything that I need to do, that you have to do when you're playing pool in terms of preparation, visualizing, pre-shot routine. And then once I'm ready, the only thing I'm focusing on is just pushing the cue forwards in a straight line. This puts the pressure off my back really a lot on difficult shots, because I know I did everything I have to do. Now just try to cue straight, push the cue forward in a straight line, and that way you will really improve. But it's a lot of work, and you will always try to improve your stroke. This was really close, by the way. This rail first shot almost made that 1 ball, even with a position on the 2 ball, but now my opponent has a shot. Bit tricky, maybe the 8 ball is a bit in the way, but he has he has a lot of space on the table actually. Let's see what he's doing. This was a bit wild. I think he actually hit that one way thinner than he intended to, because now he really is in no man's land. Good news is the 1 rail kick is still on. And he's playing pretty fast at this moment, so seems like he was a little annoyed. And yeah, he got away with it. I mean, he made a good hit. This is always the most important thing. Now, for example, again, you could say, well, my opponent got lucky because, it ended up the way that it is now, where I don't have a shot. But in order to get lucky or to have a good outcome, you need to make contact in the first place with the 2 ball. If you're not even making contact rail first, then you can't get lucky or can't have a good outcome. And also the speed that you're playing is very important. So whenever I'm playing a rail first shot, I'm trying to find the right side of the ball that I want to hit, and then have the speed where I have the best possible chances to have a good outcome. And then you could say it's lucky, but you could also say it's a calculated guess. And here he made the ball, he hit the ball rail first, so this is totally fine that he has this outcome. And I'm not the kind of person who complains over my opponent if he gets lucky, because first of all, you can't change it anyway, and this is the game. Sometimes you have a roll, sometimes you don't have a roll, so don't try to think too much about that. And here I'm in a really awkward position. I don't know if I can actually shoot in between the 7 and the 8 ball, and obviously I couldn't, or I just messed it up. So yeah, should have maybe looked for another solution if I'm not certain that this works. And now I give up ball in hand with an open table. How is my mindset before playing in a tournament? Well, that's a good question. First of all, I like to visualize myself playing in a tournament, especially if I know the venue, to just basically feel how it would be to be in a tournament. And then it depends. Most of the time, my mindset is, of course, I want to win the tournament. That's always my mindset, no matter how big or how difficult this tournament is. So this is always my goal. And the second thing is that really helped me is, don't focus too much on the outcome in the end, if you're winning or losing. Just focus on playing my game, doing everything that I can. Don't make silly mistakes. Don't pull the trigger if I know it's a silly shot that I'm taking on, or pulling the trigger if I actually know, well, I'm probably going to miss it. Just stuff like that. Just, yeah, pretty much playing my game and playing the game just as I talked about before, the way I enjoy playing the game, and just not putting too much pressure on myself. And this very often helps to actually play your best possible pool and in the end win some matches and maybe eventually the tournament. This is a race to 9, so I'm 3 games away from winning, and he needs 5 more games. Yeah, it's always a bit tricky with the camera. Let's have a look at the stats, by the way. So still pretty solid, 1 break and run each. I made 1 more ball on the break. Putting success of 96% is still pretty solid. 87%, yeah, he missed a couple of balls. I made 7 errors and he made 1 error. I think I made a mistake actually. This doesn't look right, especially if you compare it with the score. But we will have a final stat at the end of this match. Then we're going to have a look again. So again, once again, we have a very important wreck. Either 7-4, 6-5. This was a good break. You can see the cue ball traveled a really nice line. So was traveling towards the center of the table. I made the 1 ball into the side pocket, which is not always my goal. To be honest, I'm trying to bring the 1 ball in front of the upper left corner pocket from your perspective, and I'm trying to make the wing ball, but sometimes you will make the 1 ball. Better make the 1 ball than making no ball. And here, yeah, this is a pretty open table. You can see again, this was a shot where I didn't just roll it in, slow roll it in, but where I let my stroke out and just hit a bit above center. And now this should be a pretty open table, basically a road map. Here on that 4 ball, well, I think I have a bit too little angle, so it's not that natural, but it should still be fine. Very important, what I'm doing here is I'm thinking 3 shots ahead, so I'm not just thinking about how I'm getting from the 4 to the 5, but actually what angle I need on that 5 ball to get as easily as possible to that 6 ball. And yeah, I was a bit too straight, so now I left myself a bit of a longer shot on that 5 ball. I have to use some spin. I think I even have to cue a bit over that 7 ball. So let's have a look at that one. And I missed it. Yeah, that was a big miss. That was a big miss. But I mean, it can happen. It was a long shot with some spin. Didn't adjust for the spin, or maybe my stroke was off. I can't remember at this moment. But whenever you're missing shots like this, it's either because you hit the wrong place on the cue ball, or because my stroke was just off and I was hitting it not the way I've intended to hit it. And when you're playing with side spin and you hit or stroke it differently than you're trying to stroke it, then of course the cue ball is going to arrive at a different spot on the object ball, and because of that you're missing. So it would seem that you are just... Oh, my opponent missed. So it would seem like you were just aiming wrong, but maybe you were aiming just perfectly fine, but you decelerated on the stroke and that's why you missed. And I think this was the case here. So my opponent is feeling it. It seems like he missed that 6 ball and left myself, yeah, a long 6 ball where I have to bring the cue ball all the way up table. Cue ball is very close to the rail, but this is just, again, such an important shot. I just have to punish his mistake right now, because when you're not punishing mistakes from your opponent, he really forgets really fast about the mistake. This is something I've noticed too. Whenever I don't get punished by opponent, I seem to completely forget about the mistake, which is a good thing if you forget about it, because you can't change it anyway. But yeah, that's why I have to make that 6 ball and clear the table here. Difficult shot. Bring the cue ball nicely 2 rails up table, but perfectly into the corner pocket. So you can see I'm really disgusted. Yeah, that was horrible. And now I'm leaving him the 7 and the 9 ball. So yeah, Made a couple of mistakes. This, I mean, you can't really control that. I could have hit a bit softer, but this, yeah, it just happens. So it's probably 6-5. Yeah, this is definitely 6-5. Okay, now we're slowly getting into the last phase of this match, where every single reg becomes really, really important. Now if he's making it 6-6, then we have a race to 3. So let's see what he's doing. It's his break. So now he just needs a good break, and a break and run would be perfect for him. And I'm of course praying, give me a chance, let me to the table. But we will see what happens. By the way, I would be really interested, where are you guys from? Are you watching from the USA, from Indonesia, from Europe, from the Philippines? Just let me know in the comments. And, well, didn't make a ball, but didn't leave an open shot. So what should I do here? I could maybe try to play the kiss shot. No, I think I can't hit that one ball that thin, but what I could try is send the one ball couple of rails around, or maybe try to play the bank shot, and if I miss the bank shot, play it with a speed where I'm hitting the long rail first, and then bring the cue ball to the one ball to the short rail. You will see it in a minute what I mean here. So this is basically a two-way shot. Yeah, exactly like this. Missed the bank shot, one ball ends on the short rail, and I even managed to open up the two ball. So this was almost a perfect shot. But as you can see, in safety game, it's very, very often the case that you're just trying to bring the cue ball and the object ball onto the rails. Like here, short rail, or long rail. Was he actually trying to go for that? That would have been crazy. Or maybe I think he actually just tried to graze it thin and leave the one ball on the short rail. But this is awfully difficult from this distance. However, still a difficult shot. I have to cue over the 6 ball. I have a thin cut. The cue ball goes wild. The only good thing here is that the 2 ball is in front of that corner pocket. So I don't have to worry that much about the cue ball. By the way, thanks for letting me know from Poland, USA, South Africa, Namibia, Atlanta, Germany. We have some fellow Germans here. Louisiana, Croatia. Ah, that's so cool. So many different people watching pool. Scotland. Yeah, it's awesome to do this with you, to be honest. It's always a great time doing those live streams. And in the meantime, I missed the shot on the 1 ball, but it seems like I made it. What do I do from the 2 to the 3 ball? Yeah, that was a good one. So this was a 2-way shot. If the cue ball travels a bit further, I'm going to play the 3 ball into the side pocket. If it stops a bit earlier, I'm going to play it into the corner pocket. We have another question from the chat. Do you often find yourself thinking about your opponent more than focusing on the game? It happens to me a lot. No, actually not. As I mentioned, I used to do that, to think about what my opponents first of all thinks of me, or the people watching are thinking of me. And I was thinking of my opponent. For example, I remember one of my first tournaments, there was a guy, he was full of patches, and he was dressed really nicely. He had a nice cue case, a nice cue, and I was already, before we even started the match, I was like, well, I have no chance to win against this guy. And then I was playing with so much fear, when in the end this guy was pretty much the same level as I was. So I was just projecting too much into my opponent, that this is something you shouldn't do. Of course, there are some circumstances or instances where you have to play your opponent a bit. For example, if you're pushing out and you know this guy is a right-hander, I'm a left-handed player, so I can, for example, play another jump shot because I can reach it as a left-handed player and he can't, or he has a strong kicking game or a weak kicking game. These are things that I'm doing when I'm thinking about my opponent, but apart from this, I'm just focusing on my own game, and I don't complain about my opponent or what happens or what he's doing. I'm just trying to play my own game. Okay, a bit of a tricky shot. I didn't have a lot of angle on the 6 ball, but brought the cue ball out way too far. Now the problem is I'm going away from the 8 ball. I have to stun over into the long rail. Maybe even a bit too much angle. I hit that 9 ball. This was not the plan, but this is what I meant with too much angle. I couldn't avoid that 9 ball. And now I have a way more difficult shot than it should have been, just because I had the wrong angle from the 7 to the 8 ball. So knowing the right angle and just being on the right side of the shot is so important, because as you can see now I have a horrible difficult 8 ball where I'm probably just trying to roll it in and try to get the cue ball to the short side. But I missed it. So yeah, I mean, this is missable. The mistake again happened before. The only good thing is, you can see I'm frustrated. The only good thing is that I left a bit of a longer shot, and this is really difficult to play this with low right, bring the cue ball back. You could even play, not go for the direct cut into the pocket, but even play the bank shot. And I think this is what he's doing, yeah. This was a clever shot. Again, you see, he played it in a way that if he misses it, that the 8 ball goes towards the short rail. So you can't only miss direct shots on the pro side, you can also miss bank shots on the pro side. This is very important to understand. Now awfully difficult. The 8 ball pretty much frozen to the rail, the cue ball pretty much frozen to the rail. I think all I'm going to do here is trying to bring the 8 ball to the left long rail from our perspective and the cue ball to the right, so that the only thing he has is a bank shot or maybe just a resave. So this is just a containing safety. If I would now try to hide the cue ball behind that 9 ball, so hit the 8 ball in a way that the 9 ball is blocking the path from the cue ball to the 8 ball, this is way too difficult, and you will very, very likely sell out, because it's just so... you can't really control what's happening, especially from the distance. That's why often you will see even pro players go for the containing safety, or maybe even for the offensive option where you're trying to bank the ball, because as I mentioned, if you're trying to bank a ball or make a ball, there is always a chance to leave the ball in a safe position. So whenever the safety is way too difficult to execute and you are going to sell out when even playing the safety, then you can also try to make the shot and maybe get a bit lucky. Okay, I hit it a bit too thin, but the good news is 8 ball close to the rail, cue ball is close to the rail. That way he can't manipulate the cue ball, so he probably can't bring the cue ball down to the 9 ball, because the 9 ball is on the short rail. Would the 9 ball be in front of the corner pocket, then it would be, I wouldn't say easy, because the cut on the 8 ball is still difficult, but the good thing is he can't get a position on a 9 ball here. And he made that 8 ball, which was an amazing shot. And now I think probably has to go for the bank shot. If you remember, he made that awesome bank shot in the beginning. So let's see. Really, really big ball, by the way. You can see he can make it 6-6. Let's have a look. And this time he didn't make the bank. and he's leaving the 9-ball in front of the corner pocket. You can see he's annoyed, but I think it was the right decision. It really was the right decision to do that. First of all, if he's feeling the bank shot, then he should go for it. And I mean, the safety would have left myself also an easier bank shot, either into the side pocket, or I can bring himself afterwards into an even tougher position than he was right now. So I think this was the right decision. Sometimes you're just trying to take the shot on. I mean, he could have even double banked it if he hit it a bit harder. So you can see there's always something good that can happen. But now for me, if you're on my side, this was a very important and a very important rec. What is the minimum table size for a good preparation? Well, I mean, any table is better than no table. So if you don't have space in your apartment or in your house for a 9-foot table, get an 8-foot table. And if you don't have space for an 8-foot table, well, then just get a 7-foot table. For me personally, because I'm playing on 9-foot tables, it wouldn't make any sense to have, for example, a 7-foot table at home and practice all the time there, and then go to a big 9-foot table. In that case, I would go to a pool hall and practice there. But as I mentioned, any table is better than no table. But for me, it should be at least an 8-foot table if I'm getting a table into my home. But it depends on what you're exactly playing. Okay, now it's his turn. And he has an open table. He definitely has to make it 7-6 right now, because otherwise I'm on the hill 8-5. So this is a very, very important rec. And there's probably a lot of pressure. And even here, it's a bit tricky. You can see that 9-ball is blocking the path to the 4-ball a bit. He has to slow roll it in, even use some left spin. So this becomes missable. But he made it. And played it just soft enough. So this was a very tricky shot, but he played it well. Now from the 4 to the 5, just roll it in, maybe use some inside spin. But I think it wasn't even necessary here. I think one more tricky shot, 5 to the 6, a lot of options. If he's going forwards with some left spin, he can play that 6-ball into the side pocket. Yeah, he's doing that, but again, he's a bit on the 50-yard line. So a bit shorter, he has it into the side pocket. A bit further, he has it into the corner pocket. I think he's going for the side pocket here, playing low, bringing the cue ball into the short rail and back out for the 7. Bit tricky. And he missed it. Yeah, big shot, difficult shot. But again, he ended up in between. But at this score, you just have to make that one. And now I have a really, really good chance to make it 8-5. Yeah, because the question from the chat is why it was his turn even though I made the one into the side. Well, we are playing with kitchen rule here. By the way, I got really, really lucky here. It was a huge shot. I remember I was even a bit embarrassed. We are playing with kitchen rule here, and this just means that I have to fulfill the 3-point rule. This means I have to get 3 points on the break. Each ball I'm making gets me 1 point, and each ball that crosses the head string and goes back into the kitchen gets 1 point. And I didn't fulfill this rule, so it was my opponent's turn. And they implemented that rule to avoid that soft breaking, that you have to hit harder, because soft breaking really makes the break a lot easier. And this is just how they are playing it at this tournament. Well, I got really, really lucky on that 6-ball. You can see this was a huge game. Now it's 8-5, otherwise it would have been 6-7. So a huge game, a huge shot. And I know he's probably really annoyed with that one, but sometimes you just get lucky, and I wasn't really lucky here. But I mean, no, I just got lucky. That's it. I just got lucky. No, in this tournament you don't have to call the shot because this is 9-ball, and in 9-ball you don't have to call the shot. You just have to call the ball in 9-ball and 10-ball and straight pool and bank pool. Oh, this was close, but he has a good chance here. Cue ball almost scratched, and now you can see the 8 and the 2-ball are in the kitchen, so those are 2 points, and he made it 1-ball, so he has a total of 3 points. This is why he's allowed to continue. Difficult shot on the 2-ball, cueing off the rail, but well played it with confidence, and got rewarded even though he bumped into that 7-ball. Now I think the 3-ball should probably pass, and looking at the rack, I think the most difficult part is going to be probably from the 8 to the 9, which should be also very doable. So this is a must win or a must break and run to stay in the match. Yeah, passed. Now he doesn't need to travel a lot with the cue ball. Just maintain the right angle on the 5-ball. You don't want to get straight probably. You just want to have a slight angle to play the 6-ball into the same corner pocket as the 5-ball. And this looks pretty nice. So, what's your guess? Will I win this one? Or will I lose? Or what's your final scoreline? Let me know in the comments. I can't believe we are already so close to the end. So it should be 8 to 6 in a minute. And then we don't have a whole lot of more racks left. Time really passes pretty quickly when I'm doing those live streams. DZ Nuts 9-7. Okay, good call. Well, your cue ball control isn't really great. Any suggestions? Well, just practice. Do some drills where it's all about cue ball control. 9-6, 9-5, 9-7. So you all think I'm going to win? Don't forget, guys, the last live stream I uploaded where I was playing against Pia Filler, I actually lost that one. So I'm also uploading matches where I'm not winning. And this was just what I was talking about before. If you leave the cue ball at the center of the table so you don't overhit it, you will always have a nice shot on the 9-ball. If you overhit it, you're close to the rail and you have a really difficult shot where you're on the 50-yard line. So always try to underhit the shot if you're not hitting the right speed, and never overhit those positional shots. But he played a really great shot on a 9-ball. So it's 8-6 and it's my break. So of course, I'm just hoping for a break and run here. I don't want to let him to the table because now it's 8-6. It should be, should be a pretty good position. But just imagine I'm making one mistake or I don't make a ball on the break. He clears the table. It's his break. He makes a break and run and suddenly it's 8-8. And this by just making one mistake. So yes, it's 8-6, but one mistake can be really costly. Okay, let's have a look at the break. Made the 1-ball into the side, made the wing ball. We have the 6-ball, the 5-ball and the 2-ball in the kitchen. So I'm definitely going to continue. But have a look. We have that 3-4-9, which is really, really difficult, especially since I have to get from the 2-ball all the way to the 3-ball. So a break and run is very, very unlikely to happen here. If it goes 8-8, then it's my break. and whoever wins the rack wins the match. That's what's going to happen at 8-8. You think I have that in the back? Well, we will see. We will see. What would you do here, by the way, from the 2 to the 3 ball at this goal line? It's really difficult. I mean, you can see I'm looking here. I can't even make the 3 ball if the cue ball is here to the left, because I think the 4 ball is blocking the contact point on the 3 ball, and I'm awfully straight on the 2 ball. So this is really, really horrible. Someone is saying I have to play safe on the 3 ball, which is, yeah, a really good and clever suggestion. So as long as I'm seeing the 3 ball, I can actually play a safety. I mean, I could try to play a safety right away from the 2 ball, but it's a bit difficult. And then I didn't solve the problem with the 3 ball. So it would be a bit more clever to make the 2 ball, see the 3 ball, and then play a safety on the 3 ball, because then I have an open table. Okay, let's have a look what I'm doing. High and left, cue ball travels. And does it travel enough? Yeah, I actually managed to get to the short side on the 3 ball, which was my plan, and it almost turned out perfectly. Now I have a bit of a problem because the cue ball travels into the 9 ball, and I don't really know what's going to happen, or can't really control it 100%. Okay, let's have a look. And I mean, yeah, I made the 3 ball. I have kind of a shot. Side pocket is horrible. I can't play it directly into the side pocket because, have a look, my head is blocking the 5 ball, but I have to travel all the way up table. I mean, I could play a bank shot into the side pocket and follow the cue ball and try to go somewhere up table. Or, of course, what I could also do is just play a safety, which would probably be the safest option. But at this point, you can see, yeah, I'm still not convinced of what I'm doing. But I mean, I made a really great shot from the 2 to the 3 ball. I made it 3 ball, and now I'm left in this situation. As you can see, I'm looking here at the potting line. And I was just telling myself, well, you know what? You're feeling good. You are in stroke. Just go 100% for the shot and try to run or to break and run this whole rack. Don't let him to the table again. Sometimes you have to risk a shot if you don't want to let your opponent to the table, because then he's in control or something good for him can happen. So you can see I'm struggling a bit. We're looking at the angle again, and now I remember this is now the exact point where I'm making my mind up, and I'm like, just go for it. Don't second guess yourself. Just play the shot, be convinced of yourself, and pull it off. So let's see what happens. I made it, and perfect path of the cue ball, 3 rails, and this was the reason why I went for the shot, because I knew position was very natural, position was guaranteed if I pull it off, and now I have a really nice shot on the 5 ball. Exactly. Every time you hand the table to your opponent, it could be your last turn. Now, yeah, I think I should make this. Let's have a look at the last 2 balls. So very nice, a break and run to win the match, to win my first match at the Euro Tour. I played, I think, 3 or 4 more matches after this one, but I don't have the recordings for this. And yeah, that's the end of this match. I made it 9-6. Let's have a look at the stats real quick. So I played a total performance average of 848, which is pretty good. 2 break and runs, putting success of 94%. 14 errors. My opponent made 12 errors. Safety success 67%, which is pretty nice. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this performance. Thanks, guys, for your kind comments. Now I'm finally back. Whew. This was really exhausting, I have to tell you. Talking for 90 minutes straight in the live stream is just, I need something to drink. I need just to rest now a bit, and I hope you enjoyed this live stream. We're gonna make it quick. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification to never miss a single video, because right now YouTube doesn't show or suggest my videos to the people or to my subscribers. So it's very important to ring that bell if you want to watch my videos. If you don't want to watch my videos, then you don't have to do this. And as I mentioned, there will be a live stream show soon on my channel if I have this whole thing set up completely. But as you can see already, this camera looks so amazing compared to my smartphone camera that I'm usually using. By the way, nice smartphone case. Head over to my shop if you want to. I don't think this one is available on my shop, but many more things. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It was a great time with you. I'm trying to figure out how to end this thing now. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, see you at the next lesson or live stream. Take care. Bye-bye.